Alright, this is the Onyx Genesis 29-inch motorized bicycle that I built. So we're going to sell it today. I'm riding 5 miles up to meet the guy. He's riding the bus, so I guess the story goes is he's going to use it to ride to work. And I've ridden it about 4 miles now. I'm just about to where I'm supposed to be, but man, I really like this bike. Having fenders and these bigger tires really go over bumps really well. It's a really nice bike. Runs real good. With the bigger tires, I kind of have to pedal a little bit going up hills, but you know, I'm on the 16:1 break-in oil, so it'll get a lot better. Well, I can run a better ratio, but throttle response is real good. So, anyway, it's a super bike. I really like it. I almost like it better than the one I'm keeping instead of it, but that's alright. We'll go ahead and let it go. I'm getting pretty old and busy, and I just don't have time for him anymore, so we'll ride the rest of the way and see what this feller thinks of it. So here we are up at DMAC, Des Moines Area Community College or whatever, where I'm meeting this guy. So as you can see, I rode the bike about 8 to 10 miles to meet this guy and sell it. He had never rode a motorized bike, I guess, or a motorcycle for that matter, I don't think. Anyway, it was pretty interesting. He wasn't picking up how to work the clutch, and I think he was, I don't know, put on the spot a little bit, and it made him a bit nervous, so he was having a little bit of trouble. But anyway, what he would do is he wouldn't let the clutch out all the way and would pretty much rev the engine to the moon, trying to get it to move. So much that it actually vibrated the exhaust bolts loose, and the exhaust was barely hanging on the engine by the time I could run over and flag this guy down. You know, I pretty much learned that day that just how high those little engines can rev, and it really didn't sound that healthy. I would have recorded all of this, but I was too busy trying to wave this guy down so that the engine wouldn't wind up in pieces in the parking lot. Needless to say, there's a few things I want to go over with a rider when you're trying to sell one of these motorized bikes, and I plan to make a video over this within the next few weeks, but for now this is really my experience. But with a rider, the first thing you want to do is mention that you need to pedal to at least 6 to 8 miles per hour with a standard 44 tooth rear sprocket before you let out the clutch, and this is with a standard 26-inch sized rim or so. And you want to tell them to let the clutch out easy, not to just drop the clutch, because it'll really just burn the clutch up if they do that. Then with the clutch out, you want to tell them to continue pedaling and roll into the throttle nice and easy. They have a tendency to want to just wide open the throttle, but pretty much if too much throttle is given when the back wheel is connected to the engine, so you're under a pretty good load, all the engine's going to do is bog, and it's going to run bad, and they're going to get a bad idea of it. So, I mean, they don't have a lot of power. You're just dealing with a little bit of power here. But, you know, it just takes a little throttle to keep these things moving along. You know, you need to steadily increase the speed. You know, they won't rapidly do it, and if you just wing that throttle open, they'll just bog, and they won't accelerate at all. So you want to make your riders mindful of that as best you can. So, and like I said, a new rider's tendency is to go full throttle because they just don't understand what's going on, and if they're not working the clutch properly, like in my experience, it could be completely catastrophic to the engine. Luckily mine didn't wind up in pieces. I could get the guy stopped beforehand. I was running you know, a lot of oil in that engine, a 16:1 ratio, so I was really fortunate. But the same goes with coming to a stop. People seem to find it to be a difficult concept that the clutch needs to be pulled in when coming to a stop. So be sure to explain this thoroughly. I personally like to have my riders pull the clutch in with it locked in before they begin braking, so that they don't run into any problems. But pretty much in doing these things, you might save your bicycle from catastrophe. That was nuts. I thought that guy was gonna rev it through the moon and kill it to death. I think it's just all he's got. I know. I should have made an owner's manual. I didn't realize it was such a... Oh, he's got the hang of it now.